Welcome to the Investing Bros. I'm T Shroom and I'm jacked. I'm excited for this episode. We'll be talking about Bitcoin dominance. We're going to be talking about ChainLink. Maybe it's a coin you've heard. Maybe it's a coin you've heard of. We're also going to be talking about $450 billion that will be flowing into Bitcoin and Ethereum this year, according to Bernstein. We're going to be diving into all that. But make sure you all smash the like button and consider subscribing to this channel. It is a lot of fun to do this every single day, but we can't do it without you tuning in and smashing the like button. And also checking out some of the links in the description. It really does help out quite a lot for us to be able to keep doing this. In fact, today's episode is brought to you all by our cold wallet sponsor, Arculus. Go ahead and check out Arculus for your cold wallet needs. Well, let's jump into our cover story here, because Bernstein has quite a prediction. Bernstein says Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF markets expected to grow by $450 billion. That is quite a big move there. Bitcoin and Ether exchange traded funds are expected to grow. Well, this is a very distracting advertisement. Pause. Well, all the suds and duds are expected to grow 450 billion market based on our crypto price forecast, broker Bernstein said in a report on Tuesday. I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty good. That's a lot of money, right? That's a lot of money. I think currently, let's actually check this out. What is the current market cap of crypto? Not something we check on very often, but it is readily accessible, or at least I thought it was. Let's see. Oh, here it is. So it's 2.5 trillion. So adding, rounded up to another 500 billion would be pretty good. It would round this number out to 3 trillion and really start to give us a run for gold, which is still up at 11 trillion, I believe. But zooming back over to this story, this would signify flows exceeding 100 billion over the next 18 to 24 months in crypto ETFs. Analysts Gutman C. and M.S. wrote, the broker predicts a Bitcoin cycle high of 150K in 2025 and has a year-end price target of 90,000 per Bitcoin in 2024. So some more conservative price estimates there from Bernstein, but putting it in dollar terms, putting it in the amount of billions of flows into the ETFs is very, very impressive. And that's just the ETFs, right? Now that Ether has been classified as a commodity and not a security, the biggest controversy surrounding the cryptocurrency has been settled, the report said. Bernstein notes that Ether is the first proof-of-stake-based token to be approved as a spot ETF, and its approval paves the way for a blockchain asset to evolve from a token sale. It feels boring. Bitcoin's moving sideways to down. Maybe your favorite altcoin that is very valuable to you is maybe moving down, moving sideways. Bros, do not be discouraged. We have just gone through one of the most bullish weeks ever in crypto with the passage of a major crypto bill that was pro-crypto, and also the passage of the Ether ETF, right? These things are not to be understated, right? These are very, very big events, and yes, they aren't translating to price go up quite yet, but they will. Right? We saw that very recently with the CPI being kind of the trigger, the catalyst for the release of a lot of bullish pressure. And that was just one. That was just one moment in time. And there are some charts that are moving up and to the right quite precipitously. We'll take a look here at the weekly chart for ChainLink. ChainLink doing really, really well. Definitely outperforming the rest of the market. Over here on the crypto bubbles, you can see ChainLink up 5.5% on the day. Let me get a good clean refresh on this, and yeah, still 5.5% on the day, looking really good. Engine not too far behind. Injective, up 5.6%, and you're getting a retrace here from the meme coins. Bonk down 5.7, Floki down 6.9, Pepe down 5.5, and we are seeing that rotation. It was originally out of Bitcoin, right, and into, like I said yesterday, GameStop and the meme coins. Well, now that money, that liquidity is flowing from meme coins into value. TIA getting bought up the most aggressively, up 12% this morning, but Link and Injective not too far behind. Now, Injective is one that I'm not too surprised to see getting a pump here. Oh, Render up 4% as well. Don't want to forget about Render. But I'm not surprised to see Injective getting a pump here because it's been underbought over the last 4 months. So Injective, I think, still a ton of value for that layer 1, and really has been getting underallocated in my opinion. Definitely one to look into for sure. Back on the link charts, I'm going to zoom off of the weekly. But before I do, going to take a look at the MACD. Ooh, that is beautiful. That is a beautiful MACD on the weekly. Kind of looking a little bit like Bitcoin in the sense that there is on the weekly, Bitcoin actually looking very bullish. Look at this. So this is ChainLink though. Don't get it twisted. Just comparing ChainLink to Bitcoin. We're having fun. The money flow coming in positive, looking really good, looking strong, healthy movement to the upside. This jerking up here in a green reversal dot to the upside, looking good. And it looks like the hyperwave, as of today on the weekly, has gotten up above that 50 line. So it doesn't get a whole lot more bullish than that. That is very, very bullish. Very good. So ChainLink looking to push higher here, potentially close in on these local highs back here of $21, and then the local high there, that wick high of $22.84. So looking to close in on that. Do I think we hit that in the next week? Maybe. I mean, so far this has been an aggressive move higher. You have 3 weeks in a row that are looking to close green. It looks bullish on the weekly momentum oscillators here, the MACD and the Lux Algo oscillator matrix. So things are looking pretty bullish for ChainLink. Let's go down a time frame. Let's go down to the 4 hour. So down here on the 4 hour, let's look at the oscillator. Yeah. So it's just had a high, come down, found support, resetting. Did get a lower high here very recently, and a reversal delta, some candy up top. But we're putting in a higher high here on the 4 hour. That is already so still got on the 4 hour, still got about, call it 3 hours there before this candle closes. But that could be pretty bullish if we do get a higher high close here. Already have a wick high higher than this previous high here. So this to me is looking like a bit of an ascending wedge. If I draw it out like this, people are loving ChainLink TA these days. Yeah, a little bit of an ascending wedge could be breaking out sometime soon. This one even goes all the way back here. Very impressive. Very cool. Yeah, been able to stay on the upside of this midline of the Bollinger Band for quite a while. Haven't really been, we did print a couple candlesticks back here on the 4 hour, May 27th and the 26th, but we haven't really spent a good amount of time under the midline of the Bollinger Band since May 23rd. So that's pretty bullish. We're able to stay up above that. Let's go out to the daily here and see what the daily chart's saying. I'm going out of order here, aren't I? Oof, that looks good. That looks bullish. So found some solid support. Kind of looks a little bit like the weekly. Found some solid support here from these highs here on the hyperwave, and it is just pushing higher. Money flow got actually up above that defining line there on the blue, that blue defining line, looking to maybe do that again. So ChainLink looks bullish all around. Is there a chance that this could pull back and get a little bit exhausted? It's possible. But ChainLink is usually the canary in the coal mine for another big bull run in crypto as a whole. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and crack open the Bitcoin charts. Tim has done a lot of TA on this recently, kind of showing you all potential measured moves for Bitcoin. I believe these measured moves have kind of played out something like this. That would bring us up to 76.5 to the upside. He might have drawn this slightly differently. And then if we broke out today, it would come down to 61.3 to the downside. Why do I feel like his predictions were not that exaggerated? Not sure. But this is looking pretty good. We have not broken out of this symmetrical pennant that does seem to be forming here for Bitcoin. We haven't broken out of that yet. We were getting close to it this morning, but this candle has resumed back up, gotten back up above these candle buddy closes back here at 67.9. Live price for Bitcoin, 68.175. So maybe not as high as you would like it to be, but looking pretty good. And then you know what I had I had drawn a regression trend on this other Bitcoin chart here, just to point out that this midline of the regression trend, it has definitely not been the end all be all, but it was obeyed back here, it was respected back here, rejected off of back in early May. I wouldn't say it was rejected off of here because we did get an entire candle body to close above on the daily for April 23rd. But generally, this was kind of where, the zone where Bitcoin rejected and came back and put in the lowest low that we've seen since February. So if we can hold this line, if we can find support on the midline of this regression trend, which if we drop down to it today would bring us down to 64.5, I think that's still pretty bullish. So let's look at 64.5 higher on this other chart and see what we can't pull out. 64. So 64.5 actually coincides pretty nicely with that 64.8 line, which is a multi-month level of support. Again, I don't see us getting too much lower than that, but I believe the measured move for this symmetrical pennant does put us below that line. Also have the midline of the Bollinger Band here on the daily, that if we drop down to it today would put us at 66,604. So lots of levels of support from here. I also have drawn this kind of this gray box. I don't know if you can see it real well, but this line here coincides with these candle wick highs here back at 67.2, and this general the high end of this consolidation back here around the same level, 67,100 to 67,400. And that it does seem to be where this last candle from yesterday, the wick, went down to and found support. And it looks like the current candle today's candle has actually found support just above that. So on that uptrending line of support. So I've had a bias to the downside. I talked about that on Monday, that if you zoom out, you kind of see, let me turn off the Bollinger Band even. I know, I'm turning it off. You kind of see that we put in a lower high here, which isn't what you want to see. We've put in a lower high than we put in back here in early April. So rejecting off of this downtrending line of resistance is really not ideal. And so more than likely we need to go back and find some strong levels of support. And what we could start to see though, because if we stop thinking about that pennant, the pennant's so obvious it just kind of jumps out at us. But if we remove that and look at Bitcoin just pure and true, or as Caleb Franson likes to say, kind of these horizontal levels of support, we could be finding support at 67.9, right? This is a Kraken chart. 67.9 is actually pretty decent because we haven't gotten a candlestick print below that since May 20th. It feels like we've been a lot more volatile than that. Well, it's because of these wicks. But the candlesticks have not closed below that 67,800 level. So we could, and the current candlestick is no different. So very, very interesting price movement here for Bitcoin. I'm going to maintain my Monday my bias that I held on Monday, that we will see Bitcoin come lower and find support maybe somewhere back down here and print a candlestick at least at 66,900 to test this previous high back here. But I do think it'll find support somewhere. It may be a good bit lower than that, maybe as low as 63 perhaps. I don't think we see a 60K Bitcoin again, without a very big event. But that's kind of what I'm tracking. I think we find support somewhere between 66,800 and realistically probably like 63,000. Finding support here on these levels back here, in this consolidation back here, and then we pump higher. That's where we'll find support. Hopefully we can find support somewhere above the midline of this regression trend. I think that'll really entice investors to come jump in as well. So that's going to be the TA. Ethereum for Bitcoin. Ethereum soldiering on here, doing what it can. It hasn't gotten those S1s approved quite yet. So ultimately, there's still kind of a waiting game on the Ethereum side. But this level, 3,600 that I have drawn, has not even been contested for since back here in May 21st. right? So there's been a lot of bullish momentum since May 21st. I mean, sorry, May 20th was the day on the Bitcoin chart that we haven't printed a candlestick below, and then the same is true for Ethereum. So we are pushing up and to the right. It feels a little bit boring midweek here, but I will say that things are looking pretty bullish. Let's actually look at the oscillators here. Yeah, so bullish momentum is slowing down here on the daily, and it does look like we've gotten to an overbought level on the oscillator matrix there from Lexalgo, but money flow is still green, and it's plateauing a little bit, starting to come down, and you do have some red reversal candy, some bearish candy there up top. But it's not bringing the price too much lower. Really, it hasn't even printed a candlestick below these candle highs up here. So looks like we are exiting the golden pocket, which isn't necessarily what you want to see. But overall, I mean, it's hard to ask for too much more from crypto at this point. Things are looking very, very bullish. Consolidation and now, bullish sentiment. Putting in lower highs, yes, which is not great. We want to see higher highs. But putting in a good effort to put in higher highs after a huge, push-ups in late 2023 and in 2024. So, it looks like this period of consolidation and distribution and testing to the downside, price discovery, trying to find support ultimately for Ethereum found right around here at 2,800 has been put in. And likely, will come down. We'll find support somewhere. Maybe it'll be this 3,600 level. Maybe it'll be lower, down to the 0.5 here, the fib, down to 3,200. But there's also a good chance that we just rocket from here. If those S1s get approved, start getting heavy flow into the Ether ETFs, it could be game over for crypto. We just pump. So we shall see. We shall see. Let's check in with the chat. Bros, if you're enjoying the stream, make sure that you subscribe and consider smashing the like button. No, don't consider smashing the like button. Smash the like button. A good investor always diversifies, says Philly Phantom. Let's see what else we got. Looks like there's been a lot of chatter here down in the chat. Very good to see. Great. Another new entry price for my daughter, said Granny's Garden. Yes. Yes. Sin City Crypto said, hola, what is up, Sin City? Good to see you here on the 9 a.m. stream. We're having fun. From Austin. Oh, cool. So you're a consensus. Very nice. I am getting married at the end of the week, so I am not at consensus. It is a sad day if you're not making money. That is correct. That is correct. Ion said, ETH too strong, man. Just waiting to explode any moment. That is true. That is true. And I kind of tracked out some levels to the downside in case we don't see the passage of the S1 for another 3 weeks. It's possible. So we'll be keeping track of that. And it's good to know, what is your risk? What are some potential downside levels? Looks like maybe some chatter around AVAX, Crux saying AVAX for the win. The banks are using Link and AVAX. They have real world use case. Well, absolutely. Absolutely. Gary, yes, swap XRP for Link. Not financial advice, I'm sure. Awesome. Let's see. It looks like somebody asked, should they swap XRP for ChainLink? Here we go. Gary C. said, hey, bros and BROZ. I like that. Can I get your opinion? I have 1,000 XRP locked up on a ledger from 2018, which is actually my mother's. Okay. Her phone got hacked and lost everything except these. Trade into Link? ? Ooh, man, I am so sorry to hear that your mother lost everything in a phone hack. That is really unfortunate. I'm so sorry to hear that. We actually do, and I'm not. We actually do have a sponsor, Efani. Efani. If you look in the link in the description of this video, you will find the link to them. I don't know the context of how her phone got hacked, but if you take a look here, you actually get your second month free with Efani. It's a mobile service, just like Verizon or AT&T, but it's much more secure. Check them out, and you do get a second month free of that using the word BROZ. But if you just click this link, it'll go, and that discount will be applied. So, going back to this question, should you trade your Link for XRP? I would. right? I sold my my XRP probably October. Was when I started to feel the winds of change, if you will. Not financial advice, but it looks like most of the people here in the chat are agreeing with it. Philly Phantom said, personally, I would ditch XRP. Link, Solana, Ethereum, Render, AVAX seem poised to continue progression throughout this bull run. Correct. I agree with all those. Render, again, I don't have any exposure. I just feel like it's so high. I don't want to buy it when there's so many other cryptos that I think have maybe not as much potential as Render, but have similar potential to the upside in a bull market that are underbought, right? That are maybe even at or below the midline of their Bollinger Band on the weekly charts. Whereas Render, it's just a little overbought for me. Doesn't mean that if you have it, you should sell it. Absolutely not. If you have Render, that's where you want to be. But swapping XRP for Link, I think that that's probably a smart move, not financial advice. Moving along here into our stories, we have hit a milestone here today. Bitcoin Magazine is showing us BlackRock spot ETF, ETF IBIT passes GBTC to become the largest Bitcoin ETF in the world. Pretty wild here. You can see it illustrated. And that is a monumental moment, right? GBTC for a long time, Grayscale being the dominant name in institutional crypto. Now it is BlackRock. At least if you're going by that scoreboard. Speaking of scoreboards, SEC racks up another big L in the U.S. judicial system. SEC ordered to pay $1.8 million as the judge dismisses the debt box case. Utah District Court Judge Robert Shelby ruled in a court order filed on Tuesday that the SEC should pay most of the reasonable attorney fees and other legal fees petitioned for by the defendant in the case, amounting to just over 1.8 million. Goodness gracious, not billion. Just 1.8 million. In a separate filing, Judge Shelby granted the SEC's motion to dismiss the case without prejudice, meaning the regulator could, in theory, refile charges against DebtBox at a later date. From my perspective, I think that's probably not going to happen. I think DebtBox is now... I did some research into DebtBox a few months ago. I'm talking about like June, July. I was writing a script for another influencer. And man, I got to tell you, DebtBox definitely rubbed me the wrong way. But were they doing anything illegal? That's another question. Let me know. What did you guys think about DebtBox? Is it something you know or care about? I don't really care about it too much anymore. I'm only bringing it up because the SEC just lost to them pretty badly. Again. Oh, the SEC. If they know how to do anything, they know how to embarrass themselves. That's for sure. The New York Stock Exchange plans Bitcoin options, bringing another TradFi giant into crypto. This is very, very exciting. I don't know that it gets much bigger than the New York Stock Exchange, but here's a statement from them. As traditional institutions and everyday investors are demonstrating their wide-ranging enthusiasm for the recent approval of spot Bitcoin ETFs, the New York Stock Exchange is excited to announce its collaboration with CoinDesk Indices. New York Stock Exchange Chief Product Officer John Herrick said in the statement, upon regulatory approval, these options contracts will offer investor access to an important, liquid, and transparent risk management tool. Very, very cool. So it looks like CoinDesk Indices is in on the deal here. Bitcoin derivatives helped pave the way for this year's introduction of spot Bitcoin ETFs, which turned into one of the most successful ETF launches in history. New York Stock Exchange is owned by Intercontinental Exchange, which competes with the CME Group, whose Bitcoin futures are widely held in the industry. So CME Group has a huge lead on the New York Stock Exchange, and the NYSE is turning to CoinDesk Indices to try to catch up. Very, very interesting. Let's see if there's any chatter in the chat on that. Let's see. Philly Phantom said BlackRock is behind Ondo and its market cap has a ton of room for growth. I do agree. Alex Rod, shouldn't assume what your last name is, but if you have a diverse portfolio, I would not drop XRP out. Just buy Link as well. The best strategy is having a diverse portfolio, but if you don't have enough for a moon bag, then yes, sell XRP for Link. So that is the opinion there of Alex Rod. Very helpful. Thank you so much for tuning in and for participating. Let's see. the conversation goes on. Link performed well first half of last cycle, but horribly in the second half. Only reason I'm skeptical. Second half has most of the price action didn't even make a higher high from May to November. So some good TA there, longer term TA from Crux. Thank you for jumping in and helping us. Let's see. Okay, Kathy Woods has she's participated in a who's who meeting in El Salvador with a lot of very interesting Bitcoin and crypto folk. Let's take a look at what she's had to say. Currently, El Salvador's GDP is at a low base, 30 billion, and the average income only $450 per month. President Bukele clearly understands the Laffer curve, and Art Laffer can see many ways to build on the momentum his tax incentives have put in place, as I can. The president also leaped at the idea of introducing ARC Educate's curriculum on technology-enabled innovation, robotics, energy, storage, AI, blockchain, and multinomics to schools in El Salvador. Since 2020, our educators have made ARC's research age appropriate. President Bukele's determination to turn El Salvador into an oasis for the Bitcoin and AI communities, two of the biggest economic and technological revolutions in history, is the reason I believe it is real. Its real GDP could scale tenfold during the next 5 years, and that's the big headline there. Pretty incredible to think that El Salvador could 10x its GDP in just 5 years. That would be quite an accomplishment. It'd be pretty crazy, if you ask me. But very impressive. Very impressive. Well, it doesn't stop there. Ripple donates another $25 million to crypto super PAC Fair Shake. Now, I always like to remind folks, crypto is an interest group. We are an interest group. We're definitely reminded and seeing that this year with the U.S. presidential campaigns. Ripple's donations account for roughly half of the more than 100 million Fair Shake has raised from major players in the crypto space, including crypto exchanges Coinbase and Gemini, venture cap firm Andreessen Horowitz, and asset manager ARK Invest. So we're hearing a lot from the political side of it all, and that doesn't seem to be slowing down. The announcement specifically discussed the role of federal regulators, saying that the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's approach to trying to regulate crypto by enforcement has failed, and that the U.S. must act to craft a positive regulatory landscape for crypto that will foster innovation. So, a good move there from Ripple. We talked about how you should sell your Ripple and buy ChainLink. Well, maybe not so fast. If you like what they're doing up on Capitol Hill here in the United States, then maybe you'll hold on to that XRP. I don't know. Do what's best for you. Do whatever is best for you and do your own research for sure. Leveraged Ether ETF to start trading June 4th. Sponsor Volatility Shares says, I'm assuming this is the futures ETF, not a spot BTF. The Volatility 2X shares will become the first leveraged Ether ETF available in the United States, with company posting on its website. Trading will begin June 4th. So I'm going to assume this is futures. There's no way this is spot because this would be the big headline. But I don't see where it says futures. It's got to be futures. There's no way that it's spot. All right, another big M&A story here from TradFi. ConocoPhillips to buy Marathon Oil in $17 billion all-stock deal that bolsters shale assets. Does this affect your crypto portfolio? Probably not, right? But consolidation in the oil industry, in theory, heavy theory here, should bring oil prices down, which could potentially contribute to lower inflation rates. But this is also just a giant Wall Street headline, right? ConocoPhillips buying Marathon. That's a big deal. Whew, somebody made some sweet commission off of that buyout. I'll tell you what. Bros, it has been a pleasure. It looks like the chat was mostly about should you rotate XRP into ChainLink. I like ChainLink a lot more than I like XRP. I'll say that. Wilford Bilford said, "Hey, did Tim ever go over VeChain yesterday? If so, I missed it. I don't think he did. I don't think he covered VeChain. We'll have to do that today on the 3 p.m. show. Let's see. Roger Flores says, I feel the smart thing to do is treat XRP as our stable coin. And if for any reason we are all wrong and one day it actually rockets, our stable coin makes us rich. That's an interesting perspective. One, I kind of see where you're coming from, but I don't agree. I think our stable coins are our stable coins, right? USDC, USDT, DJED, I'll throw that one in there, right? Because they are what they are. They are actual stable coins. I would not treat XRP as a stable coin because just as much as you think it might rocket to the upside, it could go down. And you don't want to have money that you assumed is riskless going to zero potentially. I'm skeptical of the dual nature of offering coins and an IPO. I am very skeptical as well. That is unprecedented. The closest thing, well, I was going to say MicroStrategies, but that's really that's not close. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know that XRP is going to be actually able to go IPO at this point. I don't know if that's even a stated goal that continues into the future. Let's see. Big Xiaomi fires back here. How is XRP a stable coin if it has been tanking down into oblivion against ETH? Yeah, that's a good point. All right, bros, thank you so much for tuning in. It has been a pleasure. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be live with Big Caleb Branson, the macroeconomic heavyweight and altcoin trader heavyweight as well. Big Caleb trades quite a bit of altcoins. I think he's been doing pretty well. But bros, whatever you're doing the rest of the day, make sure that you're doing it to the best of your ability. Make sure that in this season of politics and controversy that you are reminded that people come before politics, that you're not getting involved in some squabbling or ruining relationships over political opinions. People are more important than politics. If you're human, make sure you're staying hydrated today. And if you're trading, keep those stop losses tight. I'll see you at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, bros. Adios.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. T-Shrooms news, got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.